To bring in Simone Thomas. And Simone, I want to tell you this. Listen, for this type, I want to trade in a hot and humid summer day in Arkansas. It's been cold for a while now.
Give me a UV of 10, no clouds, 95 degrees, because we didn't even get above freezing today. That's how cold we are, and I know a lot of people are itching to get the last of the snow and ice off of the ground. Well, it's going to take us a few more days to do so because we're already down to 26 degrees in the capital city, feeling like 18 degrees. To our north, Harrison, 19 degrees, feeling like 10, and even to our south, El Dorado, right at the freezing mark, feeling like we are 26 degrees this afternoon. Now, as we continue through the overnight hours, wind speeds are calming down as some high pressure moves in. So by the time we get to midnight, there won't be a major difference between the air temperature and the feels like temperature, but we are dipping into the teens again overnight. And again, anything that had the opportunity to melt today is going to refreeze overnight. So our weather impact alert continues through Sunday morning over hazardous travel conditions associated with all of the ice that's still on the ground. We're talking about the warm up that is on the way coming up in your 7-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
All right, Simone, thank you. Well, storm damage continuing to impact people and places across our state today, including in Pope County, where the Department of Agriculture is asking farmers to report their damage to receive assistance. THV11's Carter Thweet has the story.
Scenes like this one behind me can be spotted all across Pope County today. Families dealing with and even witnessing structures collapse.
I heard a noise and quickly turned around, and I got to watch this entire barn just collapse.
It was unexpected for Lisa Harmon of Harmon Farms in Dover. The barn holding food for their animals and a new tractor collapsing under the weight of the ice and snow.
It makes you nervous for sure. Now, this was our oldest structure. But that doesn't mean the other ones aren't vulnerable. I know of people who've lost, newer structures.
One of them can be found in the city of Russellville, where retired teacher Tammy Jansen opened Green Thumb Nursery in 2021.
We've spent the last 4 years remodeling.
Which is why it's so disheartening that one of their greenhouses now looks like this.
My son came up here to check on it. Colt, that works here as well, he made the unfortunate call to me that had fallen through, which he hated to make.
So Jansen had to figure out what to do with thousands of plants, and Harmon didn't have hay for her animals or a tractor to pull it, but the Pope County community stepped up.
He lives about 2 miles away. This is a man we've known for years, but not a close friend, just mainly a city acquaintance. And he loaned us his tractor for as long as we need it.
Still, though, the next few months won't be easy. Harmon will spend it dealing with insurance, and Jansen hopes they'll have customer support.
The best way to support us is come in, and just shop with and other businesses in town that have not had business all week. So just shopping small is going to be the best.
In Pope County, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
And as a reminder, the Department of Agriculture is asking for those of you in Pope County who received damage to any agriculture facilities to call and report it. You can find that number in this story on our website. That's thv11.com. Well, 2 people are in police custody after having several hundred pounds of drugs seized from several homes. A judicial district drug task force has started investigations into both Susan Martin and Venus Donahue. According to reports made this week, the investigation leading to warrants being served for suspected trafficking of large amounts of prescription drugs and possible fentanyl in Independence County. Authorities seized more than 250 pounds of the drugs. Martin and Donahue will face several charges, including trafficking a Schedule II narcotic. This remains an active investigation. The state's Department of Finance and Administration will waive late fees on vehicle registrations expiring this week. This will be extended to any vehicle renewed by February 6, allowing drivers to avoid an expiration penalty due to winter weather closing state offices. For more on participating offices, just visit our website, thv11.com. Where nearly 240 million people are under winter storm warnings and cold weather advisories, with parts of the South seeing snow and blizzard conditions for the first time in years. CBS's Skylar Henry has the latest conditions throughout the country.
say what I had to say.
Patience is running low as the temperature in Tennessee, where resident Terry Miles is one of thousands still without power since last weekend's storm.
I've been told this is the coldest and the worst I've ever been in my damn life.
With another round of frigid weather now hitting the south, the Nashville Electric Service can't tell Miles when his power and heat will be back.
We're having to dig our infrastructure out from under trees that's froze to the ground. It is a slow process and it's hard for us to judge.
We built a snowman.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, 7-year-old Ivy sees a different side to the storm.
Today it was like a miracle. I just ran out the door and jumped into the snow, making a snow angel.
Here on Virginia Beach, they expect several inches of snow here, with much more inland. Officials that we have spoken with say that they anticipate temperatures not getting above freezing for days.
There's 3 of them actually still trapped on the road right now.
Sam Griffel lives in Richmond, where she's been watching cars struggle on the icy road outside her home.
I would make eye contact with the driver and they're just looking at me like, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know.
Farther north, these penguins at New York's Long Island Aquarium may be dressed to the nines, but they can handle 9 degrees.
It can be too cold even for a penguin. There's a lot of penguins that never see ice in their lifetime.
The National Guard says soldiers are on duty in 15 states to help communities recover. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Virginia Beach.
Well, the U.S. government is partially shut down at this time, but it isn't expected to last long or have a big impact. Hours before Friday's deadline, the Senate approved a funding deal. However, that agreement isn't official until a vote from the House, which won't happen until Monday. One of the main sticking points at this time is regarding the Department of Homeland Security. Across the country, numerous anti-ICE protests were held yesterday, with some leading to clashes between protesters and police. As CBS's Kristen Benavides reports, this all following the arrests of 2 journalists, including former CNN host Don Lemon.
A tense scene in Los Angeles where clashes took place between protesters and police. From New York to Washington, D.C. to Minnesota and across the country, people took to the streets Friday to rally against the federal immigration crackdown.
This isn't what the U.S. is for. You should not be kidnapping people on the streets, taking people away from their families.
I'm just going to walk in.
On Friday, the Department of Justice took action against 2 journalists who covered an anti-ICE protest that disrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota.
I'm not going to get in the middle of it because I'm not here as an activist. I'm here as a journalist.
Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was arrested in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammys.
I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now.
1,500 miles away.
Agents are at my door right now.
Minnesota journalist Georgia Fort, who was also at the church covering the protest that took place 2 weeks ago, posted live Friday as she was about to be arrested.
Amplifying the truth, documenting what is happening in our community is not a crime.
The 2 journalists followed demonstrators inside a church whose pastor is also an immigration official. Attorney General Pam Bondi said it was her decision to pursue the arrests.
You have the right to worship freely and safely. And if I haven't been clear already, if you violate that sacred right, we are coming after you.
In Congress, lawmakers are set to negotiate measures to rein in federal immigration officers. Christian Benavides, CBS News.